beef with Polygon Pythagoras. MetaMask, yeah, crypto cash. Let's go. I seen the metaverse through MetaTope, my eyes a megaphone. Customize my empty skin to optimize my flesh and bone. Phase 1, evolution, revolution. Smart contracts inside your smartphone. Phase 1, evolution, revolution. Help me CT phone. Whole body markerless motion capture. The metaverse broken after the MetaTope golden era. The whitelist still open, hurry up what you need, golden chariot. Holy virgins that's holding cherubims, paving the road with fairy dust. Create the avatar of your wildest dreams, yeah. And use it inside your live streams, yeah. Your metaverses, favorite games in widescreen. MetaTope, visualize your digital.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome in. The space is giving me a little bit of issues this morning, so I'm trying to figure out why it's doing it, but we'll get everything moving here pretty shortly. Go ahead and request if you're supposed to be on stage. Whoa, now I'm getting feedback. 1 second. We'll get everything moving here pretty shortly. Go ahead and retweet the room. Let's get some traction in here. We got a bunch of special guests joining us today, from anywhere from Bored Apes, Mutant Apes, and people that we met. Probably will stop in here at some point from the week here in LA. My voice is pretty much shocked, so I'm going to try to do a little bit less speaking as this thing gets going. How are you doing, Enzo? How are you doing today, man?
Yo, how's it going, man? Doing pretty well. Had a busy start to the day. I had to put a desk together so you could have our own desk. But aside from that, man, it's been great. The weather's getting a bit cooler, so I'm not sitting in a room sweating all day, which is nice. But yeah, dude, I think this might be the last month that I might possibly be able to go to the beach. Starting next month, I think it's all just downhill and cold weather from there. But yeah, it's been a great week, and I'm really excited to hear about some of the people that you guys have met in NFT LA. I'm really excited to have them come through here.
It's great, man. Yeah, hope you get some of those beach times. It's always good to get out there and touch some sand, and I'm sure you and your girl have a great time getting outside and doing that. And before it's too late, right? And then it's gonna get cold, you said, or it's gonna be, not really that beach weather, and it sucks, because then that's typically the time you want to go is when you can't go. So I understand that completely. Hey, Jordan, how you doing, man?
What's going on, guys? In the car right now. I'm gonna have to drop off stage for a couple minutes shortly, but I'll be back. Excited for today. This is gonna be a good one. And yeah, it's funny. Like you're in LA, and this is like the least I've ever seen you in LA. I know you're staying super busy, but it's been huge. It's been awesome.
Yeah, my voice is not happy with me. It's a lot of talking, lots of talking, and typically having to talk at a higher volume at places that have loud music and stuff, and it's definitely taken its toll. But it's not the first time, so I just know typically it's a little bit of takes a couple days to get it back. But yeah, I can't. Once I get back on the flight down to Florida, I'll probably take a speaking hiatus. I'll probably just lock myself in my room and get back to work, and just to get back on the tech grind and less in person smiling, and probably not going to go outside. Let's just put it that way. I'm going to go outside to run and get food, and otherwise everyone just probably will have to. I'll see them in a couple days. So how's it going, Crypto Medic?
Afternoon, brother. What's going on? Tea and honey, man. Tea and honey is always going to fix that throat. I don't know. Fed hikes 25 points. Bitcoin goes to Congress. We got MetaTope at OuterEdge. What a week, brother. We got so much to talk about. I love being here.
That's right. And hopefully I can't get the other account to work on the other phone. So anyway, see if as people start to roll in, I'm sure we'll be joined by the group that's invited to speak here shortly. I know that Fiddy is speaking right now on a panel and at a like a side event or something. Yeah, he wanted me to get up and do yoga this morning. I was like, you're out of your mind. So I skipped that, but I'm sure he is out there getting nice and flexible so that he can, really show, what he's capable of when he gets on that panel and talks right now. So, yep. I see Logic jumped in here. I met Logic. He's just jumping in the shower, so he'll jump up here as soon as he's done. I met him at the OuterEdge Expo on Tuesday, I think, and yeah, super cool guy. Definitely respected in the space. Figured it'd be a good time to just kind of pick his brain, see how he's doing. And he just jumped up here. So how you doing, Logic?
I'm good. Give me a second. I'll tap in a sec.
Yeah, do your thing. We'll have you come back whenever you're ready. But yeah, it's been quite a unique week for everything. It's hard to balance these in-person events and also be up to date on everything that's going on around the market. It looks like there's a lot of stuff that's happening in the space of crypto. That's the Coinbase and stuff. I mean, just today found out that those guys dumped like $20 million previous to the announcements that they were getting, SEC under fire. So that to me is very bearish that they saw this, either knew it's coming and then they're in big doo-doo, or why would they make that decision to move stuff previous to a really bad, some FUD. So to me, that's it's not like I'm not going to be scared and take all my money out of different things and try to move around, but it's definitely a red flag that they did this stuff ahead of that announcement. So hopefully Coinbase is not in that dire position of sounds like frantic panic, and I'm hoping that they are just going to be able to get through all this. And I was curious what your guys' thoughts are on that.
So I was actually watching a video earlier from I don't know if you guys follow Meet Kevin on YouTube. He's actually a financial advisor, but still I don't think anything he says is to be taken as financial advice. But he was saying that Coinbase has about a less than 2 year runway from all the money they still have from all the free cash that they still have. So hopefully, if crypto starts to look up within the next 2 years, then they'll have a longer runway, considering where regulations go. But yeah, it was interesting to see that they have a 2 year runway, and then they would have to start looking for outside investors to raise capital.
Jordan, do you want to tap in? Because you're not making. All right, let me just mute him real quick. All right, that'll fix that. Cryptomatic, anything on your end you think about when it comes to the Coinbase stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all very interesting. I think that regulation breeds success, right? So even those, whether they're doing things that they're afraid of regulation or they're looking for regulation, the one thing that history has shown us is that typically when regulation comes in, big money responds to that. I think we saw an example of that this morning with Bitcoin having something introduced in Congress, and boom, you saw a jump in everything right away, about 5%.
Yeah, and the market's you got to wonder where this, what's going on right now. I mean, it's definitely not an organic situation, it feels like. And also I think that is this CZ continuing to inject funds, and it's causing this pump, and how long will we be able to ride this into into April? Because typically April is a altcoin season. It's typically when altcoin season starts. But like, with the FTX stuff that kind of like, slowed down the momentum back before the end of the year, which, you see runs in typically before like the Christmas time. So I'd like to, I mean, it's probably no one here that knows the answers to that, but it's definitely something to watch is, how long is this going to continue before the actual like retail investor money comes back in? Because the smart investor right now is selling their Bored Ape, selling their NFT assets to get the Ethereum, and then we'll buy back in once they, this pump gets to a certain level where they feel comfortable. And that's typically how it rolls for a lot of these people. So, we are seeing a lot of collections with lower floor prices right now. I think that's something that has been like a topic here in LA with a lot of people in person, is watching, being around a bunch of Bored Apes and Mutants. It's definitely something that they're constantly checking on their phone. Like, oh my gosh, like you can get a mutant for like 12 ETH. So people are freaking out a little bit, but that's just typically how it is. It's another way of shaking like the paper hands, right? But the smarter paper hands, really, they're liquidating and creating that liquidity in ETH to get a higher amount, and then they can go back into the NFTs. So we really need the ETH. We need the crypto to make moves and to go and to pump up in order for us to get signals of a future NFT cycle. So it does look gloomy in the short term, but long term, this is typically good stuff that's happening. There is, obviously collections that are making mistakes, so their floor prices are getting ravaged because of of people leaving that project. But I think it's okay if you're somebody who just like is holding and doesn't have the time or doesn't really want to understand or doesn't want to play the market. I think like if you're in the collections that you like, it's still you're okay. So it was cool. I went to a DGen party last night. DGen Tunes was one of my first NFTs that I've had. It was really cool to see. I met Bader, the founder. I met Kelly from the team. I met Leslie over there. A lot of really cool people. David Taylor was there, the largest holder. He's got like 750 DGen Tunes. So the whales were there, and they had some really freaking yummy pizza. I'll tell you that much. Like I was eating pizza like I wasn't even trying to chew. I was just like swallowing the pizza whole because it was that good. And it's like a DGen Tunes pizza truck that they have, so that was definitely fun. So I need a second to go and reach out to some of the homies here to see if everyone's available or what the case is. So I'm gonna do that in the DMs. In the meantime, Crypto Medic, man, why don't you why don't you take over for a second?
Yeah, I got you, brother. I got you. I think it's interesting what he was saying. I think we've seen this cycle before, where as your ETH and your chain coins pump, people pull money out of NFTs to put it in, try to get those gains, and then typically, right, we'll see those coins go down at some point. We'll see liquidity moving from that back into NFTs. So I think this is still the space that we're in, that we're recovering from, is that there's still a finite amount of people who are moving this capital around between these two versions, we'll call it, right? But ultimately, I think we're still on the precipice of that big adoption, right? Where we're still looking for that commercial adoption to start to come into the space. I don't think we're there yet, but I think potentially this summer we could be looking at. I think a lot of projects that I hear, and I keep my ear to the ground, are really looking at that summer. And when I say projects, I mean companies really that are looking to release products, metaverses, things that are already built, and platforms, I'm going to call them, technology that's really going to start to drive the space. And I think that if enough of those happen as we go into summer, I think we'll really start to see the recovery from what happened last year.
Sure. Makes a lot of sense. What do you think, Enzo?
So I was looking through some charts of the Bitcoin halving, and every other past halving that we've had, I think it. I don't want to be wrong here, but I think it was like 35 weekly candles out from the halving, it like the market starts to push up, and I think we're getting closer to that 35 weeks from the halving, and that would potentially put us somewhere near the summer for the United States, which could see some volume coming in from retail and from major players trying to get into the crypto space. But I also want to see what regulation does. Mostly because I think if we see regulation, if we see something wrong happen with Coinbase, we could go for another leg down. So I'm still in a position where I want things to go up, but I'm also prepared for them to come down one more time if that ends up being the case. So yeah, hopefully I can DCA at lower prices, but if I DCA at higher prices, you know, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense, and I think, you know, DCA is obviously the strongest type of investing when it comes to just not having to pay too much attention and continuing to inject into your portfolio. And, you know, DCAing, that's what I hear from everybody. I mean, people have been doing that since the beginning of crypto, and some of the people that were out here in LA, that's, you know, that was common talk. It's like, hey, yeah, I've just buying a little here, buying a little there, and not really worrying about what it is short term, you know, with the future goal. And you know, really, especially for Ethereum, with everything going on the Shanghai upgrade coming out soon, you know, you got to wonder, like, you know, like I think staking on Coinbase has been it's been unlocked since like 2022, the end of 2022. So it's not like, you got to wonder, like, how many people are just gonna pull out their staked, you know, assets after this upgrade. But at the same time, like, you got to wonder how many people actually staked their Ethereum, like at what point. And I would assume a lot of the staked Ethereum is probably there from like the 3 to 4K range to the all-time high. So why, you know, even if this thing, why would they pull out that crypto and take a loss on the staking, not just let it ride even farther? So I think that's, you know, that's a bullish signal that some people, you know, aren't just going to pull out the crypto because the upgrade's done. You know, typically like buy the hype, sell the news kind of thing. So, you know, looking forward to, I think April, I think it was like the 14th or something, like around there. Interested to see what happens in that with that upgrade, and if we can ride a pump into it. I mean, you know, a lot of people think it's going to go down. I mean, it could be the opposite, and some of the people that think it go up. I could be wrong, and everyone just sells. You know, just sells everything they have for no reason. Maybe they buy NFTs with that. You know, that would be pretty nice.
It wouldn't be the first time somebody sold everything for no reason.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. So yeah, I think what I'll probably do is, because I know Six, I know Profits. I hung out with them like all day on Tuesday. Yeah, what is today? Thursday. Yeah, so Tuesday I hung out with them all day. So I think everyone's in travel right now, and I probably picked like the wrong day or the wrong like week to do a space like this, because you know, the people that are still here in LA are probably moving around to these the events that start early, and the people that aren't are probably in airplanes and or on the road. So if people don't make it to this one, I'm not too worried, because we can always do a Bored Ape MAYC takeover in the future with when everybody's like back at home. What's going on, Jordan?
As I guess the resident ape on the BAYC MAYC takeover, I feel obligated to now talk a little bit until we get Logic back up here at least. But I do want to call two things out. I'm not going to comment on speculation on price or all that, but this 1 ETH giveaway is really, really cool. And those of you who were there on Monday night, I mean, none of that would have been possible. Well, without our partners DGods and then MetaWin for sponsoring it. So at 10 p.m. Pacific tonight, that giveaway ends. It's free minus gas, so you still do have to pay gas. And the password to unlock it is MetaTope, all capitalized. So if you guys haven't applied, do it. It's free to create an account. And when I did it, it was like $5, or I didn't do it. I checked it. It was $5 in ETH. I didn't end up entering because I didn't think it would be a good look if I won. But I just wanted to check gas prices and all that, and go through the steps to answer any questions people had. So yeah, definitely wanted to take care of that. And then as far as the most recent on pinned tweet, our team put together a really cool little highlight video while we're going through all the footage, and oh man, that was a fun event. It was really cool to see a lot of faces, and just like I think that's what's so special about Web3. You get to meet all these people that, like, I mean, you build relationships with them on Twitter, and then you all hang out, and I mean, you can talk about everything from Web3 to just what these people do in their Web2 lives, where they're from, what got them into Web3. And yeah, it was an absolute blast. I can't give enough credit to Chris for making that happen. Chris, dude, you absolutely killed it. So, yep. Incredible job, man. And yeah, so just want to express some gratitude, and it's been a hell of a week.
Thank you. No, it's everybody killed it. It was it's tough to it's definitely tough, especially without ever throwing like an event before. But now we have one under our belt, and we know what to expect, and learning from mistakes, which luckily there wasn't anything major, and not really any mistakes that we could like really were costly, or that were that would have steered us in the wrong direction. So yeah, that was it was really cool, and I think everyone that was able to attend had an absolute blast, and it really set a good tone for the entire week. Sorry guys, I'm struggling to talk right now. Like my throat hurts so bad, but yeah, so it was a lot of fun, and I think Logic just came up here. Are you good, Logic?
Yes, sir.
Nice, man, nice. And so I was saying, I met him at the event. I know that Logic has been. He had a speaker panel, so I'd love to hear what you thought about the panel and how that went, and really just get an idea, like kind of tell everyone kind of like what brought you into space, if you don't mind, and where you see yourself going here. This year we got a whole year still ahead of us, and curious to see what your plans are.
First of all, I'm getting FOMO because I was supposed to go to the DGods party from the Czechs event, and definitely decided to leave a tad bit too late. So shout out to y'all for that. It looked like it was a wave. Yeah, man, I was on two panels. I moderated one, and then I was a panelist on another. One, I feel like NFTLA had a lot more intention behind it this year than the year prior. I was mad impressed. Like, my first one was like an all-star lineup. I had a guy named Tony Parisi who co-founded the standard file for transferring 3D files. So it's like the equivalent of creating a .jpeg or a .gif, but he created it for 3D assets. So when you're sitting on stage with people who are, and then also he's working with Neil Stephenson. If you're not familiar with Neil Stephenson, he coined the word metaverse in his book Snow Crash that he released in 1999, where he actually described the entirety of the metaverse. So most of us see these pizzas, like people like, why is pizza such a prevalent thing? It's not because DJs love pizza. That's not why. Pizza was actually a catalyst within the book. And it was like pretty much, foreseeing super fast delivery on all fronts, and pizza was kind of that thing that he used for an example. So when you're talking to people who have relationships like that, or created the foundation in which we all use as we looking into metaverses and AI, and I just did extensive research. I was on there with some juggernauts. So just even that panel alone, I feel like NFTLA did the damn thing. And then my second panelist was with the famous Swan Sid and JP, aka Cyber Alchemist, and we spoke about integrity, community building, and things of that nature, which I think is a very important conversation. I didn't, I let it all out. I didn't, I didn't care about rubbing shoulders, just in regards to the current landscape of what we consider culture, and what that may look like in the future. So just to even add that, to add to what the question you asked me, in regards to how I see myself faring in this space in the next year or two. I'm here to humanize the technology as much as possible in regards to creating by example, in a provocative way. So most of us only understand Web3 from a topical standpoint. I can mint this thing, there's a wallet, crypto, whatever. But when we start looking at the underlying technology and how to connect these things to build cohesive, not even just storytelling, but just narrative. And I'm not even talking about creatively, just in regards to if you need to create a foundation for your company, or you need to create a foundation as an artist, etc. Understanding the underlying technology and what they can do for you is the utmost importance. So that just kind of lends into me creating this game called Good and Evil that's set to drop later this year. And the point of it is to redefine the way we look at the quote unquote storytelling NFTs, which I feel like is just the most lazy thing I could have ever witnessed. A short paragraph about some goblins coming from Mars that live under a bridge, and now it's 10,000 of them running amok, and you got to collect them, and then we all wonder why the floor drops from its initial mint price, because it didn't end. There was no intent from it. So so just to take a step back, what I'm creating with the Good and Evil game is for people to see and be able to rescan or look at this space with a more 360 lens in regards to how we can leverage this creatively. Because right now, the things that are winning are people who are into the DeFi, DeSci, and that stuff is cool and all, but that's just boring as hell for the average person. So how do we make this stuff relatable? So when someone comes in and you're hearing about ZK rollups, and you learning about the floor, and you learning about all the shit y'all just talked about before I started speaking, the average person their mind is fried, and it's like, okay, that's cool, but what the fuck does that have to do with me? So my thing is to make it for the everyday person to be able to digest this shit and create those type of standards. That's what I'm most excited for.
Cool, man. No, thanks for breaking it down. Definitely excited to dive in when I have more time. When I get back home in Florida, really look at everything you're doing. I know that your profile has a few different things. You got your own studio set up, and I know that you got definitely have respect in the space. And so the day that I saw you at the expo, I was actually with Six himself that just jumped on stage. So I think it's a good time to. There he is. What's up, Six? How you doing, bro?
Yerk! What's going on, man? MetaTope, we here. We in the building. I just left this morning. How's it going, man?
I am, my head, my body, my mouth, my throat, everything feels like it's all falling apart.
Why?
Because we've been talking too much, like screaming at people, with loud music while trying to be at all 8 places at the same time and walk a convention center. Come on,
That was one of the things that a lot of people dropped the ball of communication. When you throwing events, people actually need to communicate a little bit better. There was, like, even yesterday, there was 5-6 different events at the same time, so far away from each other.
Oh my gosh, bro, you're not even lying, man. And we went to the one out for the skate park. They had a line out the door that it was like wrapped around them, and I'm like, there's no shot you're making me stand in that. One, it's cold, and it like their time when they said the thing was supposed to open, they just like made everyone stand out there, which
Why?
for sure, what a great marketing tactic. But it wasn't for me. I actually was the dumbest. Like I didn't even go. We left. So it was just a waste of time.
I went last night. Where did I go? I actually got invited to the Digas thing, but I ended up at this, I don't know, Dead Fellas, the sex party, what was the other? The spotty. Um, then we went somewhere else and somewhere else.
Yeah,
Shit.
but it took you like 20, 30 minutes to get everywhere because everything was thrown like
Yes.
on the other sides of the town. It didn't make any sense.
Hey man, but dope event, man. I just want to congratulate on for those that made it. What's up? I ain't looking down at my phone. Me and my brother, we driving back and shit. We left this morning. They ain't want us to leave, man. Nobody wanted us to leave. We actually just got a text. Like we was like an hour and a half out. They're like, hey, we going to the Drake studio, man. And later on, Dr. Dre, man, listen, you're not finna talk me into nothing. We're leaving. I gotta go. So we just laugh. It is what it is. I catch him in the rebound, but super dope event, man. Like I told you, I told everybody, man. I'm a critic, man, when it comes down to club shit, because that's what we do. Like we've been doing that shit for years. So I look at things, and it was a dope experience for those that never had that experience, and for those that just know how the clubs and the vibes supposed to go. That was like, okay, y'all did y'all thing, man.
Well, thank you. It means a lot. I mean, it was really cool to spend a lot of time with you and your brother and Scott Fu and Profits and just bounce around and not feel overwhelmed. You know, it's just like it was just a nice, easy pace. You guys obviously you guys when you guys make moves, people notice, you know, like you guys everywhere you go. Then someone knows crit and someone knows six. It was everywhere. So this is obviously the right space for you. And you know, like what do you got planned for this year, man? Like give us some insight of what you think the rest of this year is looking like.
We still investing. You know, man. We still really focus on bringing more awareness to financial literacy in the inner cities. We still focus on women, um, and women empowerment too. You know, man. But yeah, so both the empowerment and the women. You know. Uh,
Six, you still there? Or is that we just focusing on the women? He might have got a phone call or something.
I will say one thing though, Chris, while we're waiting on Six to come back. You got your work cut out for you for the next event, especially like our launch party, or whenever we throw another event, because it was pretty cool to see. Like I was standing out by the door talking to a couple people, and people would walk by, and it was really humbling and kind of crazy to hear. Like, wow, that was like the best Web3 event I've been to. So yeah, man, you got your work cut out for you. So good luck.
You're giving me anxiety, is what you just basically said.
You should be proud of yourself.
Thank you. As much as I want us to have a launch party tomorrow, I am not ready for another event planning session. Maybe give me like a week or two, and we'll revisit that. But it was definitely made me lose some sleep, and then lead into it, and then not have it in like my own city. So like traveling with like lack of sleep and that kind of like nervousness is it's definitely taking its toll. So I'm excited to see that. I'm excited that it's over, and that like we can maybe in the future we could once I'm feeling a lot better, we'll definitely start putting some ideas together for what a launch party actually is going to look like. So yeah, that is an exciting thing, and it's not all anxiety and pressure and stress, but I definitely went through the emotions with that because it's definitely not easy, and I have a lot of respect for anybody that has done or is throwing events, especially for this space, because there's a high bar raised now, and hopefully I can one up it again next time. And just heads up, Six just texted me that he's getting rugged bad, so if he can't join back, it's all good. So I was gonna say we run into maybe some conversation about how. Oops, I'm sorry. Actually, we have it. Jordan, your hand's up. Let's go to that, and I'm going to jump into the next topic.
Yeah, I just wanted, before we hopped into the next topic, I wanted to highlight a couple things Logic and Six both said about. I mean, Logic talked about all these tools and empowering creators. Six talked about financial literacy, empowering women in the space, especially. And I really, really like to hear that. I've noticed a movement toward it recently. And I know we were surprised. We talked about it in this space before, but when we went to NFT NYC last year, LA Expoverse, we were blown away at kind of the demographics, because all the market research told us, I mean, just looking at numbers, that this was highly male focused, right? That those are who the consumers were, but that wasn't the reality when you go to these conferences and when you're engaging with people. Now, I know some people will mention certain parties that really they're only dudes at, but the reality of it is we were seeing probably a 50-50 split, and maybe even more women that were demoing our tech, and we're excited about it. And I think it's really should be addressed and looked at when you're talking business strategies and being inclusive. I love to hear the movement toward that, and from other companies and other builders as well.
That's true, and giving a comfortable place for women in the space to go and not feel overwhelmed, and not have a bunch of NFT degens drooling. Six, so you're back, man. What's up?
Hey, can y'all hear me? My
Oh
bad.
yeah, bro, loud and clear, man.
I'm crossing Arizona, but yeah, like I was saying, man, so I just signed a Godspeed Media, so I'm gonna be focusing on putting some content out. So more events. And what else? Just man, building. Just man. I just want good vibes this year, man. I want everybody to I want to be able to add value to anybody to come around me. Man. So whatever it's that we got to do. Another thing is, hey, man, what y'all doing for consensus? Because we might throw a party there, and y'all gotta come.
Ooh, is
So
it in Austin again this year?
yes, it is. So it might be one of them parties. They somebody go kick themselves in the ass if they miss. Uh, you know, you know, we just
Well,
talking about it, Chris. We.
yeah, I'm excited for that.
I
I'm gonna
see
have
a lot
to.
of people complain about a lot of women not being. Man, there was plenty of women. I don't know. They have problems with women. I don't know who. They do have some events that just male oriented, man. But those things is gonna continue to change, man. And being able to see it like at your party, it was a safe event. Everybody felt safe. The women was having fun. The men was having fun. It was great. It was great. So we need to be able to do that. We need to, especially when it comes down to like parties. If it's a party, you gotta first and foremost, you gotta make sure everyone's safe. Then after that, you gotta make sure everybody turn the fuck up, man. You gotta make sure things look real nice around there. You gotta make sure everybody leave home. Don't want to leave. You gotta make sure that you have to fucking cut the music off and turn the light off and y'all get the fuck out because they don't want to leave. Type of party. You know what I mean? So it's dope, man. It was amazing connecting with a lot of people that came out here. It was some good networking, and it was great finally putting a face to a lot of the voices, a lot of the names. It's always important, man. In real life events is very important. So it's super dope, man. I see everybody was doing their thing, looking good, feeling good, and doing their thing. And man, I just want to say, man, I'm proud of a lot of y'all motherfuckers. Y'all did your thing.
Thanks, dude. And you're right. I think that LA was a great location for a lot of the content creators. A lot of people are based out here, and that's where we saw like a lot of people that we spent a lot of time with in spaces. Like it was really cool to put a face to a name for people that that this was their destination for, that came here for this trip, and meeting people that are the future content creators that are, that maybe aren't as big yet. And I think that they were able to get around some of these, and potentially, like if they did the right type of networking, they probably learned something from these K Moneys, these leaps, these. I ran into Tyler WTF, or I think it was Tyler WTF. Super cool guy.
Taylor dot what the fuck?
Yeah, exactly him. He's an awesome guy, man. What an awesome guy. And between him and hanging out with him and Captain JR that night at the the Ape Water party. That was a great convo, man. Just having some of these people together, and it's harder to do this in the major cities, especially like NFT NYC. You got like 80 events the same night last year. like you try to go to the best one, but like everyone's so spread out and diversified, diverse. Like I feel like a lot of the events here that popped off were very sticky for like, everyone being in the same location. And yeah, for the most part, I think everyone got along. And it's not even over. There's still crazy stuff going on tonight. I've got like 3 RSVPs that just popped up. Prince from Board Ape Yacht Club's telling me to go to one. There's an OuterEdge after party. There's youths playing dodgeball. Like, how the heck are we supposed to do all these? I haven't left the bedroom yet.
I forced myself to get out of bed today to go play basketball after 3 hours of sleep with some crypto people. My body, I don't even know if I'm present or if I'm alive. I don't even know if it's me speaking.
You just say you don't know if you're pregnant?
That too. I don't know if I'm pregnant either.
Definitely want to check that out. That'll be the first in history, Logic. Anyway.
It's so many events. It's even events today. It's like right now there are events. They're like on the hour. There's an event going back and forth between Hollywood and downtown. Like some mad people. And the crazy thing is everybody just kind of migrates to the same place.
Yeah, they're migrating, and it's been better that way here. It's just like it's tough when people are trying to throw something like, sure, Hollywood and downtown. Like I'm staying in Hollywood, so like I dig that. But man, when these people trying to throw events out by like the waters and like I don't remember how far we drove yesterday to go to that skate park, and that was like the one thing that kind of rubbed me the wrong way was like just then on top of that getting out there, and it just was so like just a line for no reason. Like let people in. It's cold outside. So that was one of my only debaucheries that I was kind of fudding, not really fudding, but just talking about. But yeah, so that I'm excited. I'm excited to see what entails for consensus with 6. That's definitely that gives us some breathing room. I mean, I know that thing comes up quickly, but I'm excited to see what you guys do out there, and I'm also excited to see NFT NYC's opportunities. There's going to be that's the big one again, and typically that draws the biggest crowd. And this year is interesting after the FTX stuff. Like, what projects and what companies are going to work together and do some cool stuff, and can they, now they got a high bar raised from NFT NYC, and I know the D guys and Utes, like those guys are going to be doing some crazy stuff over the course of multiple days with the hotel bought out on like 3 different floors, all sold out to their community. Bring them all in one spot. So like, are they going to just be more exclusive, or is this going to be something they want to, open more to the public on? Look forward to them. I know a little bit more than probably most on that, but I'm not gonna spoil any of the stuff that they've showed us, and confidence. And yeah, Crypto Medic, what's up, man?
Bro, I just want to talk more about this party I missed, apparently, where 6 is getting pregnant. Because, man, I should have come to LA.
Logic apparently getting pregnant. 6,
Okay.
Yeah, I got depegged and repegged.
Yeah, depegged and repegged. That's right. I like that.
Yo, Chris, what was something at NFTLA or one thing that I do appreciate this year is that it really, again, it weeded out a lot of people who are not necessarily here for the long run. So you really got to tap in with people who love this shit in all forms of Web3. I saw some interesting products or projects, not necessarily like not PFP projects. I think that kind of faded, but a lot of dApps and not utilities, but things that can make our lives easier. Tools. What's some of your favorite things that you witnessed this weekend so far?
That's a good question. That's actually a great question, because before I got into the NFTs, I was heavily, in the previous cycle, I was spending a lot of time on my research, like really learning about these different type of protocols and things. And after this cycle, a lot of those DeFi protocols and yield farming, it just all kind of dissipated. A lot of it was proven to not really be as powerful, and a lot of it was all BS. Like some of them just really didn't, they were selling a dream, and didn't really know. I don't think a lot of people knew what they were doing. So one of the top companies that I ran into was Perispace, and I, like they unfortunately and fortunately, in my opinion, have been in the news about that hack that happened or that could have happened, and they were able to save the $5 million from being stolen. And I met Shield, and I met the other gentleman. I have him on my Telegram at the other block party, and I the first thing I got from him was from those guys was like, they immediately went into a very a defensive mode about that hack, and I thought about it, and I talked to him about it. I was like, you guys, like, I find it very bullish that you guys were able to stop something. I mean, imagine if like you didn't have that extra layer of security to protect your consumers. And I think that they were able to do the job and perform and save their clients, because not forget, people are trying to take other people. People are trying to hack and do malicious things to every company. So it was very, I think that if they're able to prove themselves as somebody who can handle this type of pressure, they could be a bigger player in this game. What do you guys think about that?
Go for it, Logic.
No, the pressure's a real thing. But no, I want to hear Jordan's take first. I want to hear Jordan's take.
I mean, I like the accountability. And I think that's important, right? We're seeing uncertainty in terms of regulation. We're seeing uncertainty in terms of, I mean, really like malfeasance and bad actors. So I think accountability is really, really important and kind of nice to see. So when I spoke with, I'm forgetting the gentleman's name at Other Block. He was like, "Look, this is what happened. Here's where we are." They seem to be on top of it, and they stand by their promise and what they're going to do. Now, look, if it was like an Axie Infinity kind of not Axie, Axie Infinity was the $600 million exploit, right? And there's certain points where you really. It's a lot harder to protect your users, but no, I applaud them, and I'm excited to see where they go. They have some really interesting products.
Yeah, I'm looking when you speak on not necessarily just accountability, but sustainability, creating things with the future in mind. One of the things I'm not sure if how many people are developing things like this, but just attaching phone numbers to like an ENS type situation where your address forever holds a specific phone number, which then bypasses like T-Mobile and all the other traditional carriers. I still have to do some research on it, but I thought that was pretty interesting. And also, I've heard two different projects mention the development of communication systems that are blockchain native, where everything's built in, because currently the things are only taking third party, um, uh, uh, like Discord. Like you have to add the collab land or whatever that new one is that people are using now on Discord. So I think that's pretty interesting, where you can token gate conversations that are native to the app or DApp or whatever. So stuff like that, where some things may just be the first, because I'm sure a bigger conglomerate that has those communication systems will probably try to take the landscape on that one, a lot more of the popularity within that space. But that's the things that I'm seeing where it makes sense. But I think just these past 2 years, with the rise of the blockchain in regards to NFTs, and people had a lot of time to see the pressure tests that happened amongst other projects, and then you get to actually solve problems. And I think that's what takes time, which I personally was eager to see, because we're starting to see it transpire slowly, but surely in this space, and it's like right on time, because it only made sense that the low hanging fruit would get cannibalized and also just hoard out so quickly, and then quickly people saw that those things were soulless. The intention was short sighted, and that's okay for the flip or whatever, but on the other hand, those people still get holding the bags, and that's just not sustainable. Even like when I spoke about the PFP projects, where a lot of people have never even managed 3 people, but now they have to manage 5,000 people. Uh, and then also be a community leader out of left field. That's not sustainable. So I had an amazing conversation with Illa yesterday. Illa, the producer from Yuga Labs, and also a renowned producer just in the culture. Like just even talking about the players like Garga and the rest of the Yuga Labs teams and how they approach the space, and how people copy pasta that process. But one thing you can't copy pasta the person, their background, their intent, their integrity. So then, therefore, everything that comes after that becomes like a fucking like robot of the original thing, and it's so stiff and rigid, and then people start to emulate what they think is the perceived, I guess, leader or whatever those things may be. So then the expiration date is inevitable for those type of executions to just kind of die out. So as we start to solve problems and make things a lot easier, like I mentioned, the phone number situation on chain, and then the communication systems at just at the base level, the fundamental level of just tools, I think we'll see things become a little bit way more intricate. We'll see, like even in gamification, you got to keep people intrigued throughout their journeys, and I think that's what we're gonna see soon in the space, because the technology is getting easier. People are digesting and understanding. Yeah.
No, you're right. No, a lot of that is very good. And there's definitely the ones that are here now that are building. Typically, it's a little bit easier to get spotlight on like those DeFi and different type of technologies that the average person doesn't understand half the crap. Like it's like you gotta learn, and you're hoping that like you can learn from like them in person. I also think that like the presence from like companies such as Ape Water and these other people that have been. Well, let's just use Ape Water for example. The real utility of these cans of water were literally at there was a ton of events. Hasbula was carrying around an Ape Water with the Ape Water party. We had Ape Water at our event. So like that's a really strong utility, and that's cool to see too, outside of just like technical stuff, like that they're getting like real utility just from simply a can of water and it's popping off everywhere. So I'm glad that they have a little, it sounds like it looks like they're getting either sales or they had a bankroll to put towards these marketing plays. But their face was, or their name and their cans were pretty much at every party in LA. Or at least the good ones, the good parties, not every party, but the really good parties. What's up, Medic?
Yeah, I just want to comment on what Logic was saying. I mean, I couldn't agree more. I want to bring out a little bit more technology that I think is coming into fruition, right? So one of the projects or companies that's beginning to do things, MAYC Media, is looking at decentralized media on the blockchain, decentralized storage, which takes away the ability for centralized platforms like the one we're talking on now to step in between you and your community, to step in between you and your message if they don't like what you're saying, which I think is a huge another technology that blockchain is going to make really utility out of. That's not just financial utility, but utility in potentially changing the way that we receive news information.
Yeah, and with MAYC Media, I think those guys did a great job with their Super Bowl stuff, and I look forward to seeing how they continue to get their name out there and solidify themselves as a real community behind the technology that they're involved with. But yeah, regarding like, I'm trying to think of any other companies that I met in person out here, and that's the interesting thing. I feel like this was, like I said before, like this was a very heavy content creator, influencer type of audience in LA this trip, and I think it has to do with just a lot of them living here, but it was definitely like I didn't like have many of those like conversations about protocols or this this type of tech, this is going to change this is going to do that, versus like the conversation being like, oh yeah, like let's connect on Twitter. Oh, okay, cool, boom, and it's like next thing you know, I feel like the following of people that were here was typically from like a micro influencer all the way up to like a Solana princess. I mean, I met Wolf from Wolf Financial at Fiddy's party, and that guy has been in. He does 40 hours of Twitter Spaces a day, or a week. That's crazy. The guy lives in these things, and he was able to step out and meet people in person. I got his, I know his doxed account now, which is pretty cool. So like, there is these guys guys and girls that really I think took some time to step away from their daily stuff in the influencer world, and as well as came out to create content for their platform. So yeah, I thought that was really strong too. The one thing that I think really was it's very tough to throw a conference in the middle of this market. It obviously showed. The place was very versus the NFT NYC and Expoverse that we've done activations. Big props to Audrey and Josh over at OuterEdge. I can understand that struggles to get like people to spend money at a conference, and it shows when you were there, and not no FUD to them. It just it's really tough. So I'm just happy that they were able to put something together and provide an opportunity for all these other companies to swing in and do their thing too. So yeah, I'm ready to stop talking for a little bit. So Jordan, what you got on your mind, and then I'll start to do a close down here.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a highlight for me is like you see like Twitter's Twitter. You see some division between communities, and I mean, you definitely saw it this week with the Bored Ape Yacht Club and the Yes and all these other communities, and kind of some going back and forth. But at the end of the day, when we're at these events and you have these communities getting together, everybody has the same goals. And I mean, we are early, and it's really cool to see the camaraderie that this this space gets. I mean, everybody's got a little thicker skin than they did last year, and we've all learned a lot, and we're growing together. So that was really nice. And then what I think you're seeing, and Logic kind of hit on this with like not as many PFP projects, and people are actually like growing and actually using this revolutionary tech for like what it's intended to do, and not just sell JPEGs. But a lot of this tech that's out there, that's coming, you have really, I think they're going to make huge impacts. But another really interesting thing that I found was, and this isn't just coming as the CEO of MetaTope, but you have a lot of projects that are building for existing communities, and that realize the true value of these communities that are already here, and bringing them additional use cases. So, I mean, yes, MetaTope's doing it, but like probably nothing. I went to their event with DGods yesterday, and those guys just dropped their beta app or alpha, not sure which one, but it's in test flight, and they're all about leveraging communities and providing further use cases for them and tools for those communities as this space grows and as more people adopt it. So that was my takeaway.
That's cool. I'm glad. And can you touch a little bit more about that party? Like, how do you feel the vibe was? Was it mainly DGods? I was curious how that party went.
Yeah, a lot of people that were there on Monday. It was definitely more laid back, and just kind of intended to be a space just where people can gather and talk, which was nice, which was a good change of pace. It was a beautiful scenery and look out over LA. And yeah, there were a lot of DGods holders, a lot of Utes holders, but I mean, you had influencers from the community, you had other builders there, and we can all coexist together. I saw project leads talking to other project leads. I saw Spaces hosts talking to other Spaces hosts, and we're all a big family.
For the most part, we're all a big family. I mean,
there are always exceptions to the rule.
Yeah, we all have there's always the fun ones out there that troll us in these chats, and then they show up in person, and it's like they want to give you a hug, and the last thing you want to do is hug that person.
Every family's got an uncle, right? We all have that uncle.
More like a nagging child, bro. That's it. There's a lot of there was people that I think we can't forget that like some people live like these lives on Twitter Spaces to that's separate from their real world, and it was nice that people weren't just like, for the most part, weren't being too fake to each other. But like, it's definitely, it was good. And I think this goes back to women having a good time and being enjoyable, like, and not having like people like wanting to hug you all the time and touch each other. And then like, this was a great time in LA for people to actually have conversations. And it felt natural. I mean, BitBoy Crypto showed up to a party, and I mean, not everybody loves BitBoy Crypto. But everyone got along. I mean, I think even William Shatner was at the party. It's like there's some really cool people that came out, and it's like you said, it's special because everyone was getting along, even though sometimes people come on here and use this platform to for the wrong reasons, in my opinion. But we, like you said, everyone should be. This is one happy family for the most part, and I think that's what makes this actually more fun. I mean, if not everyone's going to get along with each other in this world, but when it comes to congregating with each other in real life, and we live this on a platform where we are able to communicate with each other. I mean, you got to think like how many people in Web2 like have never even used a Twitter Space, and we've got so many smart people. The Logics, the sixes out here that have that bit just grinding, and the MetaTopes like ourselves. Like, what at what point are these like? This was another thing. Like what I'm trying to tie this to is like what point do we onboard normies to this stuff, or they onboard themselves? Like they have a reason to come do the Twitter Spaces. That's going to be interesting to see like what Twitter Spaces are going to be like in this next cycle. And I met one single person in this trip so far that wasn't an NFT holder that came to an event. The guy moved to LA from Russia, super young, cool, had a nice outfit on. I assume he's moved here with a little bit of money. I don't know what he was doing, but he's just like, he came to Fiddy's party. He's like, yeah, that one being more financial, there was a little bit more financial people there, but he was just like, yeah, I was just curious. Like, I just want to come here and learn more about what the space is. I'm like, are you trolling me real life? Like, what's your Twitter handle? Like, you must be faking this, like, is this a joke? But no, he was real. He was just somebody that was like, I just want to learn more. And he took this extra time to come by and really just check everything out. And that meant a lot. It caught me off guard, because typically all we do is talk to other builders in this type of cycle. What's your thoughts, Logic?
I mean, yeah, to your point, that there was you only met one person who is completely new to this whole thing, test that. So I lost, just for example, I think that means we should consider reaching outside of the traditional, what we consider everyone to be in Web3. Essentially, it's going to begin to cannibalize itself because it's going to become an echo chamber, similar to like people migrating across from one party to the next. And it's always nice to do that and see, but basically what I'm getting at is looking at the model of like complex con, where you have a culmination of entry points into what you consider culture, fine art, fashion, food, anything outside and in between. And my point is like something like NFTLA or NFTNYC. I personally launched my own Web3 conference called Segoy. And my thing is to bring culture into the fold, people who are outside of the Web3 community in with the people with the Web3 community, because then you get a cross-pollination. A lot of people who entered the Web3 community, in my opinion, have never seen a culture come to life from inception. So when that happens, it's the first time. It's a lot of people's first time at the rodeo to then sustain that thing, because it was maybe unfortunately like a one-hit wonder, or like your time is now. But different from what it was before is now we instantly acquire, like I mentioned, 5,000 people wondering what the fuck you're about to do. We're in comparison to a lot of traditional people who have pioneered culture. The reason why pink is hot or fuchsia is hot or why linoleum floors are in this season. The people who do those things create a lot of that stuff from the ground floor and have created a following over time that they can sustain because their ethos is intact, their intentions are intact. So when you bring those type of people, those trendsetters, those like we have our thought leaders within the Web3 space, but then you have those thought leaders that affect people on a global scale, a national scale, a hyper local scale. So when you start to when we have to consider those types of entities, bringing Supreme into the fold to come to a Web3 conference, bringing Odd Future store into the fold, or you know what I'm saying. So when you start to bring when you start to cross pollinate these things, now you're exposing people who. It's almost like when you have people in the tech room and photography couldn't account for dark skin complexions because no one of dark skin complexion was in the room when they were coming up to tech for mobile phones to take photos. So all of a sudden, now when you start to bring in those different uh, perspectives, now the technology can solve for problems that the traditional people wouldn't necessarily solve for. So my point is bringing, as you said, that one person from Russia came in. Now imagine all those people who have cultivated community over the course of their careers, has access to some of the biggest names, and being able to thoroughly understand what this technology offers and how they can incorporate that into their ecosystems, and what that would do actually for how we evaluate in JPEGs or how we evaluate the utility, because these people have been given utility, or these small companies or whatever have been providing utility for years on end in the traditional Web2 market with the rawness that I think in a je ne sais quoi that I feel like the Web3 currently lacks, because now you're solving problems for things that most of us couldn't account for. So, and making it dope and making it provocative and making it interesting, and it's still techy as fuck. So I think that's, to your point, I think that's where this next transition is going to be, is opening that door, not just like, oh, let's talk to people in Korea, let's talk to people in France, oh, let's go to Lisbon, because it's still like those same people repeated over and over again, just different cities and things of that nature. But when we start bringing people from different entry points, that's when we're going to get some wild shit going.
Yeah, and we also got to not forget that those people do exist when it comes to these real life things. And like, it is, I think a lot of people have that focus, like they're so excited to meet other people in the space, and but when you have those people, they also need to have a really good experience. I mean, like, if it's too clicky, it's going to look too culty, you know. And why would they want to be a part of it if they're like not receiving that like onboarding that we all preach about, and you're too busy getting hammered and not actually providing a good experience, you know. Like this, that gotta not forget where we all came from before we were builders, and also community members of different projects. And I think that it's imperative that those people, and this might be something interesting for a future project, of having like a, like, how somebody's going to figure out a way to like really put a good type of event together that will draw that crowd and give them an experience, at the same time not like giving like just a holders only area, or maybe like, you know, separation. And it's got to be fun, you know. They got to feel like they're welcome. And I mean, that's how David Taylor got a part of the tunes community, according to him, versus, you know, all the FUD that's going on with the tunes right now. But like, he went to a real life person party, I think it was NFT NYC, and fell in love with the community, and boom, you know, he probably got invited from Prince's father, and the guy now owns over 750 tunes. That's insane. And you know, that started from that real life person stuff. And I met another person, Aaron, last night, an older gentleman. I mean, the guy's like a mix between, I called him the Jewish Santa Claus, because it was great. And we were cracking up. He's a Bored Ape holder, and he's a tunes holder, and he and I had a great conversation. And it's like he's definitely older than a lot of the people there, but he's still somebody that like can bring in like his friends and give them that same experience that he received. And we will find more liquidity that way. I mean, if we don't find new liquidity, we're literally just going to keep trading from each other, and someone's going to have to go broke. and that's not going to be me. So, what's going on, Shaggy Rax?
What's up, gentlemen? I appreciate y'all letting me up on the stage and everything. I want to touch on two things you guys have already spoke on and give kudos to a few people. First of all, people like Six, the Stacchiana's team, those are the kind of people who are literally onboarding people at a localized level. They'll go and host like workshops or whatever, and they meet people where they are, and they bring crypto to them where they are, where it will be beneficial to them. A lot of what these influencers and you guys, particularly on the stage, you guys are building, right? So what I see you guys doing is growing the space, right? And there's a difference between growing the space and adding liquidity to the space and onboarding. Because a lot of the people, Six, myself, Stackianos are onboarding, don't come with liquidity already. Not much, at least. Not worth a damn. We got to teach people how to use the space, what the technology behind it is, and all that, first. So that's the first step, right? That way, then once they realize what's going on, then they can do whatever it is they want to do out of, pull whatever they want out of this space, or whatever it is they want to do. But people like your team here are growing the space by adding liquidity, bringing these market movers, market shapers into the fold, right? That's where big brands come in. But the onboarding is always going to be at a localized level, bro. It's just easier, like you guys have already pointed out. It's easier to just get that one-on-one experience or like small group, that's where the workshops come in handy. And, a lot of the people I've onboarded, I've literally had to pull up on or Discord and fucking screen share. And like, here's the process. Here's some of the shit, here's what you can do with it. People like Six literally walked me through the shit. So it's doable and it's happening, but it's going to always be at a localized level where that onboarding takes place the way we like you said, the ideal onboarding where like we kind of get babied into it and all that jazz. Yeah, bro, that's always going to happen at a more localized level. You can't have a massive event and that at the same time unless you have a team full of people like fucking Six. Unless you got literally like 100 of them at the fucking event, and then you bring 100 motherfuckers who are new to crypto. Oh yeah, pair them up. What's up? Let's go. But yeah, bro, I absolutely love seeing you guys trying to bring more liquidity to the space. It's just I feel like it's very important for us to distinguish the difference between bringing liquidity and growing the space and onboarding, because it's a lot of the people I've onboarded don't come with shit, bro. They might come with something like music, they might come with art, or there's something they can gain from the space. It's just about how they develop themselves in this space. And I don't know any other better way than, like you said, to get people involved with this community on Twitter. That's people fall in love with the shit.
You're right. And you brought up a good point, separating what is liquidity versus onboarding. And a lot of people do put like that blind eye thinking that you're coming in here to make you're coming in to make a buck, but really this is bigger than that. And it's not just like a stock market, right? With a bunch of companies. These are, a lot of these are startups. A lot of these companies have a very tight, thin window where they are going to give it a shot. And that's why not everything's going to make it, and unfortunately that's the real thing is like, we want everyone to make it, but not everything will. And that's just the way life is even in Web 2. And if we can give each other the best chance to make it, that's where you can get behind the right projects. You can find things that are relative to yours, to what you feel is important to you, whether that's mass onboarding or maybe it's in person, one at a time. And I think that's you're right about Six and that team. I mean, I spent the entire day Tuesday with them. I mean, I rode everywhere with Profits and Six and his brother, and these guys are real. Like they're here to stay, and they have everywhere they go, somebody knew them, and it was always like smiles and just like, thank you for everything that you're doing. And that's important to have these type of people around, because as they continue to grow their network, that continues to grow their net worth. And that's important to keep going and to be able to do this is it's not free, like traveling around and trying to make all these things. So like it's there when it's business time for these guys, especially Profits. Like she's amazing. And I think that she's going to go very, very far. I mean, she already has bought Ethereum from like the ground level and is a great investor. And taking that knowledge that I was able to take from her, and just like when I asked her a few questions, I took something away from this trip that I wasn't expecting to get. And that was really, really cool to understand, you know, that girl is living entirely off crypto. She doesn't have to use fiat ever again. And she's already created that type of ways to pay her bills and continue to do everything that she does. And that entire VIP made crypto team it follows suit with each other. And if it's working, why would you not want to do this? You know, why would you not want to figure out what's working and how to implement into your strategies? And that doesn't require a giant ass party to do that. It just requires picking up the phone or jumping in a meeting on Twitter Spaces. I mean, this is why Clubhouse was so popular. And like Logic said earlier about Swan, like I've got direct communication to Swan. She's an awesome lady, and she was the queen. You know, she still is a queen, but she was the Clubhouse queen, and she knows how to monetize and scale a business through this kind of stuff. And I think that we're going to find the next queen of Twitter, maybe even the king, you know, and then just people, maybe it's sex, and maybe it's profits. And it's just like, these are the type of people that are taking that the successful side of what Clubhouse did. And if we can figure out a way to scale that into Twitter and get better tools like Spaces AI and make sure that we're all helping each other grow, I think we all win. I mean, because that's really what it is. That's the real thing about this is, like, yes, it's crypto, but like crypto works because we're together in this. It's not just like buying a stock and forgetting about it. You make 10% in 10 years. Like, this has that generational wealth opportunity because it requires us all to work together, in order to make this, in order to make it work. And for us all, for whoever's going to make it, yeah, you want to align yourself on the right side of things. What do you think, Logic?
No, I was gonna just say I have to exit stage left. I appreciate you having me. Yeah, I'll definitely be joining again.
No, thanks, dude. Yeah, but I'm ready to cut this thing down, dude. I didn't expect this one to go too long. I think that we all are exhausted that's here still in LA or traveling, and I would love to have you come back. I mean, I know that Illa was supposed to be here, but I know he's busy. He hit me up that he couldn't make it again, and I figured that was going to be the case for probably everybody. But, you know, we do run these on every Thursday, so regardless of who can make it or who not, like, we always want to have a good conversation. I'd love for you, as well as Shaggy and anybody else who would like to come back in a space like, you know, we typically put a lot of effort to having good guests and just good convo. So it's just sometimes difficult with current, you know, with everything going on in FTLA. So again, thanks for coming, guys.
Damn shame the mountains rode 6 so hard.
Dude, he's stuck out there in the Arizona mountains. That man is probably just like him and his bro, dude. What great guys, man. But yeah, final words. Thanks, Logic, for coming, man. Shaggy, thank you for jumping up on the stage. Jordan, if you want to pop us out real quick here with final words from MetaTope. And guys, if you haven't, sign up for that 1 ETH giveaway with MetaWin. It's legit. Richard Scalhorn is a great friend of mine, and we want to see the Meta. You know, that platform's fun. Go give it a shot if you want to go try to raffle. I know I'm a little bit of a degen, so if I see something on there, I'll go on there at like 3 a.m. and try to get the low gas fees and try and win myself. Like I try to win. Haven't won yet, but I know it's all on chain, so it's the best odds I'll probably get versus trying to go play something against the casino, because, you know, the casino has the edge on that one. But yeah, Jordan, go ahead and close this out, and we'll shut this thing down.
Hey, great job, Chris. I know you had to power through kind of losing your voice. So again, appreciate you all coming, and looking forward to next week.
All right, guys. Everyone have a fantastic rest of your Thursday. If you're still in LA, there's a few things going on tonight. The OuterEdge after party seems pretty cool. Paul Oakenfold, great DJ, if you haven't heard him in person. There's also a minting in Hollywood. I got the info from Bored Ape Prince. That one should be a great event up in Beverly Hills. There's also Mansion in Web3, Web3 in the Hills, I think is what it's called. That one's a mansion party with the largest Bored Ape mural. So yeah, there's things to do if you're still here, and just make sure that you keep yourself healthy and safe, and have a wonderful evening, guys.
Yeah, cyberpunk. Yeah. I mix my ETH with Polygon Pythagoras. Let it math. Yeah, crypto cash. Yeah, I seen the metaverse through MetaTope, my eyes a megaphone. Customize my empty skin to optimize my flesh and bone. Phase 1, evolution, revolution. Smart contracts inside your smartphone. Phase 1, evolution, revolution. Help me CT phone. Whole body markerless motion capture. The metaverse broken after the MetaTope golden era. The whitelist still open. Hurry up, what you need, golden chariot. Holy virgins that's holding cherubims, paving the road with fairy dust. Create the avatar of your wildest dreams, yeah, and use it inside your live stream, and on your metaverses, favorite games and widescreen. MetaTope, visualize your digital ID. Yeah. I seen the metaverse through MetaTope, my eyes a megaphone. Customize my empty skin to optimize my flesh and bone. Yeah, MetaTope is your mirror to the metaverse. Yeah, I seen the metaverse through MetaTope, my eyes a megaphone. Customize my empty skin to optimize my flesh and bone. MetaTope.